Hey everybody, John with Owl. I am sitting in the Owl Ultimate Revel and we are in Baja, Mexico at the moment, near, actually in Ensenada. This is something that Flarespace put together. We're down here with Flarespace and Storyteller Overland. We got Owl Off-Road, Owl Vans. We got everybody in the mix. Right now we're rolling with an enormous trip. I don't know if you can see that, but we're about 10 fully built out sprinters deep. It's a pretty cool feeling. All right, right now we are at, I'm gonna butcher this name, Lancheria Alexis. This is supposedly the best burrito shop around. We've got some carne asada and some bean burritos. They're absolutely delicious. I'll drop a pin here in case you're ever rolling through Baja. We got some of the Storyteller crew out here with us. Look, they've already sticker bombed. Apparently, our dealer, head of dealer sales, thought it would be funny to make them a authorized dealer. So if you're ever out here and you need Owl Vans parts, apparently come to the taco stand. I can't tell you how much fun this is. I don't know if you guys can see out there right now, but this is that dry lake bed. And the sand is a few inches deep. Got it in four-wheel, down in first gear. The traction control is being really obnoxious, and I really could use a locking diff, but other than that. All right, so here's a lesson in why you bring the proper equipment. So I just got stuck. Now the Flarespace van is a little bit stuck in this sand. So the first thing in sand that you want to do is air down. Gives you a ton more of the tire on the sand. And then these are max tracks, and we're gonna stuff some max tracks in there. We got our Agency 6 shovel, so we're gonna dig out in front of the tire with the shovel, put the max tracks in. If you've ever wondered how these work, this is basically exactly what you use them for. We're digging out so it doesn't have a ramp, getting the max tracks in there. Try it now. All right, so we just talked about why it's important to have your shovel and your max tracks. It's also important to have a first aid kit.
Yeah, safety
but
first.
He's doing all right. He's gonna live.
Yeah, massive head wound, Harry.
Alrighty. Okay, we're gonna winch it in a little bit here. And stuff. Oh, Bader. Woo, mud feet. Not a bad crew out here. In the middle of a dry lake bed in Baja. It could be worse. All right, it's victim number 2 to crack his dome. That's a beautiful scarf.
Thank you.
You look like you match the landscape now. That's your desert wear. Well done, Hobbit. That's hilarious. That's a look. Good morning, folks. This is day 3 of the Baja, Mexico sprinter trip. And yesterday, or should I say last night, was kind of an eventful evening. Right now we're driving through San Felipe. You can see the ocean is actually right there. It's absolutely gorgeous. We're following a Storyteller van, and you can see the mountains in the distance. So last night when it starts yesterday, we were on El Diablo dry lake bed. And, you know, some good safety tips, because the last van in line did not have a radio, and we thought they had chosen to turn around and go back to the freeway and take the freeway to our final resting spot. But it turns out that they had just gotten stuck and had no way of communicating with us. We were out of cell phone range, and we had assumed mistakenly and stupidly that they had gone to meet us at the final destination. And when we got there late at night, about 9 p.m., there was no one there. And we kind of freaked out, and we actually pulled up some drone footage, and we can laugh about it now because everything turned out fine. But it was like an episode of CSI. We had drone footage that we took, and we zoomed in, and people yelled enhance, and we saw their van in the top corner, like a little white blob, and there were 3 people in it. So we left San Felipe at about 9:30.
Where Robert De Niro and the other Hollywood folks get together and plan out the movie that they're going to make. Sean Penn and Madonna.
Well, now you know that too. I'll turn that down. Sean Penn and Madonna apparently conceived a child just up ahead. Very riveting stuff. Let me get this radio out of the way. Anyway, radio is very important. So we saw the van, and we sent out 2 vehicles at about 9 p.m. They didn't get back till about 2 in the morning. And it turns out that that van had gotten stuck, and they were able to get that van out in the middle of the night. Took some max tracks, a shovel, van with a winch, and were able to get those people out. But a few safety tips. It's a really good chance to kind of double down on your safety when you're on a van trip. Always take the right gear. Yesterday, I used my max tracks, I used my lights, I used my shovel, I used my winch. I don't think there was a piece of gear on this van, my tow straps, that I didn't use. So make sure you have all that, your shackles, all those things. If you're going to go off-roading, you got to come prepared. Second of all, have radios. Radios are key. Cell phones don't work out here. And then thirdly, see that yellow thing up there, right up there in my van? That's an EPIRB. And I got that because I was on a trip, biking trip with some buddies, and we went out in the middle of nowhere and no cell reception. We're on a ride. Some guy not with us had crashed really, really badly on a logging road and was definitely in need of emergency medical attention. And no one had a cell phone that we could use. And we were a solid 2-hour ride from cell reception. But we were only about 15 minutes from the van. And it was after that accident that I decided to get an EPIRB. It's basically an emergency beacon. This one is from a boat, and what happens is I believe it communicates with satellites. I'm not terribly knowledgeable on how it communicates, but if that thing gets wet, like submerged, or encounters an incredibly hard accident, or if you pull or I think you pull a safety tab and hit a beacon, it sends out a distress signal to emergency rescue stuff. I think it's like, I don't know if it's a National Guard or some sort of rescue team. So you don't need to be in cell service. You don't need any of that. And I keep that for situations like that, because if I was that van that got stuck and nobody had drone footage and knew where I was and didn't get back to where I was, you know what? You're out in the middle of the desert. There's only so long you can survive. So you pull that beacon and you get your ass saved. So not a bad thing to think about adding to your kit is an emergency beacon, as well as, again, radios, proper recovery gear, food, water. Even if you're just going out for the afternoon, bring supplies. You, as they say in motorcycles, which I used to do a lot of motorcycles, you dress for the crash, not the ride. So same thing when you're overlanding. You dress and you prepare for the unexpected, not just bringing one peanut butter and jelly sandwich and expecting to have a good day. So anyway, everything's fine. We are definitely enjoying our journey through Mexico. I know it's a bit of a longer story, but it was a little bit scary last night when our friends were out there and we didn't know where they were. So yeah, anyway, adventure. That's part of the journey. All right, so before I rescue you, I have to shame you. How many times have you gotten stuck?
Hey, I'm trying here.
Wow, that's the best flex I've ever seen out of this group. Look at it teetering in the wind. That's not All right, so we got to the wash where we're gonna get stuck, but we're not stuck yet. And a lot of people get stuck in the sand quite frequently. And if you're not familiar with the sand, you gotta air down. This is why a lot of off-roaders use beadlock wheels. So I'm gonna take this minute for those of you that don't have a lot of experience in the sand. This is not a beadlock wheel, but these tires can take pretty low pressures. We're gonna go down to about 20, 18 PSI and hope we don't pop off the wheel. You really in sand have to get them incredibly low, and what that does is it allows this sidewall to sag because it doesn't have as much air, as much structure, and it widens the footprint of the tire. That's why you ever look at an off-road tire, why it's got this terrain on the edge of the tire. Well, that's because when you air down in a situation such as this in sand, and I'm not even there yet, I'm still at like 55, 60 PSI, you'll see this tire squat and get very wide. It gives you an unbelievable amount of traction compared to normal. This is another reason to have onboard air, because you do not want to drive on pavement anything over about 20 miles an hour with air, or with tires with air that low. So if you are going into sand in an area for a while where you're going to possibly get stuck, you want to air down to about 18 to 20 PSI, and then you want to use your onboard air to air back up when you're done and get back on the pavement. So we're going to air down now so we don't get as stuck, and hopefully it gets us through, and if not, you will see the calamity. So this is, in my opinion, the definition of epic. We've got Van Life Apps, Storyteller, Owl Vans, Owl Off-Road, Flarespace van, and we are in the, what's the name of this wash again? Matomi Wash, which I guess is part of the Baja 1000 race course, but to us, it's just an absolute van playland. Look at how beautiful this is. Cactuses, 3 vans high. I'm sorry, you're right, cacti. I digress. Look at these mountains. I just want to stay here in Bonfire, van life. It's amazing. If you ever get a chance to come down here to Baja, air your tires down, bring your van back here. It's absolutely gorgeous. Well, our trip is coming to an end. I am now back in the United States. We just crossed the Calexico border. I am a little bit sad to be coming back into the States. It was an absolutely fantastic trip, so much fun, such a great time with friends. Got some great footage, some really cool trails. I saw parts of Mexico I had never seen before. Fantastic country. If you ever want to travel down there, I know there's always some concerns over safety, but the people we met could not have been nicer. The small towns could not have been more welcoming, and as far as safety concerns, we had none. There was nothing that happened down there that in any way made us feel unsafe. If anything, we just felt welcome. We kind of did this as a trial run to not just go out and have some fun and test our gear, but also to kind of get these companies together, see how we can serve the community better, and kind of pioneer some events and some collaborative stuff in the future. So, but we all talked about wanting to get down to Mexico again, or even do something in Moab or Johnson Valley or something. So, you know, follow our social media or stay up to date on our website, because we're definitely going to plan a few of these things this year. It's just too much fun. It's a great chance to connect with the community. So hopefully we can have you on one of our trips soon.